So I was talking to boyfriend the other day, and he mentioned that some homemade cinnamon toast crunch might sound nice, and so I figured, let him have this bag of the off-brand cinnamon toast crunch, and then in a few days, maybe I can have him some freshly made homemade cinnamon toast crunch. You think, guys?
Promise you I'm not turning into Nora Smith. See, would Nora Smith ever have like a whole spooky shelf going on in her kitchen? I think not. Did not see that stolen sign. Absolutely not. But yeah, no, I've got a spooky shelf in my kitchen. Would Nora Smith do that? Okay, the real story is though, with this upcoming, whatever, it might behoove us to learn whether or not it's cheaper to actually make things from scratch or to buy the multi-meal ripoff of Cinnamon Toast Crunch for $3.75 a bag at Dollar General. Now see, the thing about this is I actually prefer this stuff to the actual branded cereal. It's got like a more buttery taste, so what I was looking for when I was looking at recipes online was like the most buttery one possible that would possibly potentially accommodate being a little bit more buttery. Yeah, so we're gonna find out. Is it cheaper to make it from scratch or to just buy the $3.75 bag? Right there, that bag. Yep. Let's do this.
Now, the other question I have for myself when doing this is it possible, like really plausible? Because, okay, so my baking history is I was a huge baker when I was like a child, right? And then I grew up, I got old, and all of a sudden, with the brain damage, it kind of went away. So I'm just kind of learning. I'm at a starting point here. So I went with sort of a basic recipe, although I did make a few changes to it that are just, things I had, around. So I started with creaming the butter, and super important part here. The reason why you do this is because you want to aerate a dough. You want air to be able to get in there so that it's not like super dense and just like cardboard to chew through. So I cream all the butter, just really like jam it up against the side and mix the sugar into it. That's what you're doing here. Now you can do this with a mixer, but my mixer is on a very tall shelf and I am very short, and those two things do not work well together. Full disclosure, I'm really not entirely sure why I put it on such a high shelf. I think I was just looking for more space, and we've actually figured out a way to make space. You see this dining table right here? It does nothing but collect things. So I think we're gonna get rid of it. Because, we don't eat at it. We eat, on our little tables in front of our TV and video games and all that, right? So, why have the table? It's just the two of us, and yeah. All I do is, make things on it anyways, which I could very easily do on a, kitchen island or something that I got from Amazon, or hell, something that I can reuse from my mom's stuff, because I've got that to go through. But, yeah. I figured at the very least what it will do is allow me to add another rack that I can keep my mixer on. Even if that's the only thing that's on it, I would like to be able to reach it so I don't have to, get tennis elbow every time I'm trying to cream butter. I guess I should stop talking about the layout of my kitchen and get on to what we're actually here for and what you clicked on the video for, which is it worth it to make Cinnamon Toast Crunch from, scratch? And I think the first thing you need to ask yourself when you're doing this is your skill level commensurate with the process? For me, like I just talked about with the whole brain damage thingy, I am kind of beginnerish, and there are a few things that I can make without following recipes, just things that honestly I've been making for so long, and I was even making when I was sick. I just autopilot them, but baking is definitely not one of those things. I'm trying to see if... Look, let's be frank, rolling things out is not my strong suit, okay? It's really not. But we're gonna give this a go. And so far I've gotten just the basics in there. It said to add water. I had some oat milk left over from something I did earlier that morning, so I did go ahead and just add that instead of the water, just to give it a little bit more substance, That part actually turned out well, because some of the results were kind of cookie-ish, and to be honest, even without an egg or an egg replacer in there, they came out like snickerdoodles, realistically. So, I figure the oat milk might have had a little bit to do with that, but maybe that's just me being super crazy. It's possible. It's been known to happen, okay? It's been known to happen. So, is it cheaper? Very, very slightly. And that is only if you're actually able to use all of the product that you end up with. Hint, spoiler. So logic tells me that cooking from scratch is going to be cheaper, but like when I actually do the math of everything, it only turns out to be like $1 or so cheaper. And considering the effort and amount of work that goes into it, I don't really think it's actually worth it when it comes to like cereal and things like that. Nara Smith might be insane, guys. Just putting that out there. So funny story, or maybe not really funny, actually not funny at all, but interesting. The day after I filmed all of the other narration for this video, I actually tried the cinnamon toast, we'll call them snacks, that were in the Ziploc bag, right? And they were pretty good. Not for like a cinnamon toast crunch replacement, but for like a snack. So I figured maybe I'll give this another shot, and without the rolling this time, because hey, let's just face it, not my strong suit. So I did, and this time I actually used water, not oat milk. And I have no idea if that changed anything at all. I'm just letting you know. But it came out like really pretty good. I didn't really use the rolling pin so much as I just kind of took the dough and sort of like flattened it as I was going. Went ahead and, just flattened it into very large pieces, much like I do in all of these attempts. Flattened in very large pieces and stuck it in the oven at 325 for 11 minutes. Turned out pretty decently. All in all, definitely not bad. Now, am I saying I have found a new option for cereal replacement? Of course not. But given that I eat cereal as like a dry snack anyways, I've actually found another snack option. So I suppose I should get back to talking about the dough I'm actually working with on screen, right? So, and badly, might I add. This is actually not the first round. I had another earlier round, and it was, just to practice my rolling skills and techniques. It did not help. But regardless, I did it. And it came out like way too thin and like so crispy you couldn't even chew through it. So back to the drawing board, and this is a little bit thicker of a go, and I'm like perforating it so it's easy to break apart, because that's like cinnamon toast crunchies, right? And this one actually, it turned out pretty decent. This is one of the ones that in the day after, when I looked at it in the bag and grabbed a little bite, it's actually pretty good. Tasted absolutely nothing like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, okay? Absolutely nothing like Cinnamon Toasters, whatever the multi-meal version is either. But, it was like edible. And maybe even, on a different plane than like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like it was more, cinnamon snackies. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Please don't sue me, anybody.
Round 2.
Round 2 or round 3 for whoever's counting, whatever. This one came out pretty decently. Edible, not chewy, kind of on the side of crisp. Wouldn't do it again if I had a chance, yeah.
Round 3.
I forget where we're at if I'm not looking at it on screen right at that second, but this is another one that it came out okay. They were kind of snickerdoodle-ish. Definitely cinnamon snackies, not cereal though. I don't know how Nara Smith is making cereal, but yeah. Maybe it's magic, guys. Have we thought about that? Is it possible it could be magic? Okay, so I do need to talk about this. This dough is totally safe to eat. There is nothing raw in it, except the flour. So, don't eat raw flour. Bake it first. But as far as, cross-contamination on my cutting board, it was absolutely fine. Just adding these to the old Ziploc baggie of failure. Yay! So it's at this point that we have officially gotten out of order as far as the rounds go. I didn't know it then, but I know it now looking back on it. But anyway, this one, I tried to do butter on it and then covered it with like the cinnamon sugar, and oh my god, that was like the most delicious thing ever. I could totally see
Round
this being
four.
an option to like replace French toast sticks or maybe even like frozen waffles in the morning. I highly, highly, highly recommend trying that one out. I actually did go on 2 batches this last round, so that's how you know it was good. Okay, so at the end of this, here's the conclusion I've come to. Is this a really good option for replacing Cinnamon Toast Crunch? No, definitely not. At least not if you can roll as poorly as I can. Yeah, highly recommend better skills if you're going to attempt this recipe. Is it a money saver? I mean, I guess if prices go up when tariffs happen, yeah, it's probably going to be a money saver. Not going to lie to you, babe. It's probably going to happen. This was actually the round that's probably the most like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and still not even a lot. So